Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Tanks and Gainy Titan. And as you can see, it's another recording of my stream. I record the games as well as play the live stream because if I want to do a separate commentary after the match, so to speak, the way I normally do it, it's much easier to have a separate recording of the game. But if I have a separate recording, as you can see, the little overlay that Mixer puts on the TV is visible. That's where this 101 viewer microphone and no camera. So it's 101 minutes into my stream if you want to see the original as I recorded it. Should still be up for another week because it's last week's, I think. Anyway, Skoda T25. I have Elited it at this point. Nearly have the crew completely trained, ready to, well, I'm not too sure how far off I am. I think I'm furthest off in the Skoda, closest in the, I think actually the VK 2801 are fully trained. So we're on Malanovka and nobody's really pushing forward to scout. So I'm not going to do it either, and I'm going to go around here. I don't want to actually push forward further forward into the knoll. There was a time you could get away with it, but that seems to have long gone. There is much more likely that the enemy will scout. Somebody will scout the middle, at which point you'll be seen. And then there's no quick way out. It's too much flat ground to cover. So T-37 patrolling around there, and somebody just annihilated. Possibly the artillery. Hell of a shot if it was. And the T-67 has popped up the other side. Now the T-67 is in trouble because he's the one thing that was stopping people seeing him was that T-37, and he should really have left the area as soon as the T-37 died. Just drove out of there as fast as his tracks would carry him. Now, because the T-37 is dead and I've seen nobody else, I'm going to peek up into this bush. See if I see anybody. There's a T-50 there. There is a tank down the field, and the bulk of the enemy are actually up here on the hill. Now, there is a reasonable chance of being spotted, but I'm not the only target in the area. So I take a shot from the T-25 Elite, but I'm going to get in here behind the buildings, try not to drive into or tangle up on one of my allies. Just wait for the spot to go. Now normally I would, as soon as the spot had left me, I would probably just leave this area, but with 4 tanks here with me, I think it's worth remaining, because we're spotting these guys. They have targets in front of them, and they have targets with us as well, and not all of us are easy to spot, because we're actually, a lot of us are on fairly low ground. Now the light tank is pushed up there into that kind of dip coming out of the lake, and I said, right, well, if he's there and he's spotted nobody adjacent to him, I can slip down this way because we are practically in the cap circle, and I should be able to get fire around the edge of this hill on the people that are trying to reset the cap, like the T-50, and I'll also be spotting the people supporting the T-50, like the Hummel and the Sherman 3, which is very useful because it means that allies can now shoot them who were previously unspotted. Sherman 3 comes sideways on out to take a shot at me, so I managed to get a couple of rounds in without taking any real damage in return. And I just pulled back into cover for the reload and just wait for the gun to settle down, but that one hit the ground in front of me. I didn't wait long enough, and now I have to pull forward. But he's closer, and we don't quite finish him off. T-50 is still around there, poking around at the edge. He's taking a massive hit, but is still alive. And he's disappeared from view for the moment. We're tanked down, but we're actually in a good position because we really do have the enemy cornered. They're all in the one section of the map, so they don't have a lot of flexibility left. So there's an 88 and a TOG 2. At TOG 2, you don't see them very often anymore. I like the TOG, but it's kind of perverse kind of fun, especially on your own, because it's just so vulnerable. It's just a hit point pinata in many ways, but it does have an extremely dangerous gun with a very rapid rate of fire. And with an 88 in support could be actually quite dangerous. However, Tog is gone. The 88's really down the low ground. T50's decided to get up and become annoying, so we finish him off and we pull back up. Actually going to switch to... No, we'll stay with the order ammunition. 88's facing me. Well, I don't want to be shot at by an 88. He's got a pretty good gun and a very rapid rate of fire. And there is the more incoming fire. He's jinking around. He's making life difficult. He's aware of his vulnerabilities, particularly the flanking fire. Has he been tracked? And there he's gone. So that is it, and game over. It was quite a handy victory, really. And we did pretty well. We got a lot of spotting damage. Did a reasonable amount of damage in our own right as well. So let's look at the final results. And we got 1,000 regular damage, over 2,000 assistance damage, first class mastery, 2 destroyed, and let's see, number 1 by experience. So the second game is on Westfield. It is in the rain, and we're in the northern spawn, and we are again in the Skoda T25. Very much a tier 6 game. As you can see, quite a lot of, mostly tier 6s, small sprinkling of tier 5s, and a tier 4 artillery on the enemy team. Okay, so, well, the obvious thing to do is actually head up to the northwestern corner. The decision is easy enough with this tank because it's fast enough to get up there, have a look. If nobody follows me up, I can always leave. The problem with the northwestern corner a lot of the times is you go up there and you find yourself you're on your own, and I think it's less of a problem from the northern side because it is actually viable to leave down along by the village, and more so than it is if you're on your own on the other side. If I was in a fast tank and there were more enemy, so the enemy light tanks or medium tanks had come up, now it'd be a lot riskier the more medium and light tanks the enemy has. Well, it depends on relative speeds. If you were here and light tanks coming along the top, I think the other thing is, of course, that there are more opportunities to shoot people cresting the ridge on the northern side too, I think, than on the southern side, because you just you're in a good firing position right from the edge of the hill where it steepens down into the glacial valley, whereas in the northern side it's much more gradual, and you need to be fairly far forward often before you get a firing opportunity on people cresting the hill. There's the artillery, it's aware of the danger, but we know where one of them is at any rate. He's firing directly in. There are 2 more enemy tanks, and it looks like I'm going to get decent support this time. So there's like 5 tanks coming up to support me, whereas it looks like there's only 3 enemy tanks coming, and well, really only 2 enemy tanks coming because the Churchill 3 is hanging back. Now, in some ways, he's right, although it's probably not the best use of a Churchill 3, just simply because of the gun depression on the Churchill 3. That location could be hard to work. There's no real hold down positions there. In fact, it's a very deceptive location. There's lots of areas there where you're not really hold down. 2 people on the ridge, you have to push actually out a little bit too far. However, the enemy are up and our allies are here, and even though we're tanked down at this stage, we should be able to do pretty well out of this situation. Churchill didn't notice me until I fired, but I didn't hit. So one of the enemy tanks is pushing forward. That was a nice hit by the enemy artillery. Really made a man sit up and pay attention. KV-85 coming around. He fires at me and misses, so I might as well put the other 2 rounds into him. Pull back, wait for the reload, keep moving around, don't give the artillery an easy target. And now the T150. is the lead tank and under pressure, so I'm going to come around, finish the T150, switch targets, bounce one off the KV-85, get one into the KV-85, but there's two other tanks here with me, so I think the KV-85's days are pretty numbered. And there goes the KV-85. So we've cleared what's up here around. Numerically, we're not that far ahead, and things are very confused on the eastern side of the map. An opportunity to shoot a thunderbolt from the opposite side, but I couldn't hang around in the ridge. I was spotted, and there's a Churchill 3. Can't sit still in front of a Churchill 3. He fires at less than 2 rounds a second or something like that. So we put a round into the Churchill 3, get some module damage into him as well. But he's out there again against 2 other tanks. He's reduced to practically nothing, 26 hit points. Came too late, should have either come aggressively with the other 2 or not come at all really. As it stands, he's gone out of the game. Now, things are still even. Need to get rid of that medium tank in the village, because he's spotting for people across the way from the valley, and for the artillery. And the artillery is definitely determined to do damage. Come around this side of the building, it's harder for the artillery to hit me. Somebody really. Somebody out there with a big gun. And now things are starting to swing our way. The enemy have not managed to eliminate us from the eastern side of the map. They're down to 2 visible tanks. There's a couple of hidden tanks, but you know, we're going to find them shortly. There's the SU-5. Put another round in, finish him off. Two more tanks remaining and an artillery. I don't see anything down there. There might be somebody across the valley, but I think the other medium tank will probably spot him. So I'm going to come down, hug along the side of the cliffs here, and okay, there's enemy tank. Trying to escape, but there's no way I think to do it, and he's gone. Get the reload in, just find the last remaining tanks. One was along here along the side near our side of the valley, and we just drive forward. Don't have a line of sight, and then we need to get into a better position. And there is the remaining enemy tank, the Bishop. Put a few rounds into him, managed to get one in. And that's it, game over. So that is the second game, and we still got a decent enough result. Not as much spotting damage this time around, but mostly there wasn't the people in a position to shoot the tanks that we got the early spots on. 1369, 374. Got us another first class mastery though. And how did we do by experience? We were number 2. KV-85 and our team was number 1. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please press like, comment, share. It really helps the channel out. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.